matchups of the winter. Evander Holyfield and Henry Tillman, the WBA World Junior. All right, Frank, we are set. This is the WBA Junior Heavyweight Championship. Two Olympic teammates, two great friends. There's the tail of the tape. Tillman 2 years older and an inch taller. The limit is 190 pounds, with Tillman coming in at 189 and Holyfield 188 and a half. And just about the same reach. And the two of them, two Olympic teammates, meeting for a world championship for the first time in boxing history. And they are good friends, as Carlos Padilla issues the instructions.
Don't throw any punches during the break. Is that understood? That understood? Who is the chief second?
I am.
Okay, chief seconds will be responsible for any misbehavior of assistant seconds. Make sure that your corner is clean and dry. Is that clear?
No,
Seconds, come on.
Excuse me. The trunk. I want to make sure. I want to make. No, keep quiet.
No,
you put your finger. No, you put your finger.
No. Just a second. Just a second. I'll take it. I'll take it.
No problem.
Okay.
Sit down. That's all.
He just
rip his belly out. He
And leave it to Lou Duva to start the first controversy of the day, Alex.
There really was no controversy. Lou was just trying to distract Henry, get his concentration off the business at hand.
So Padilla ready to referee this 15-rounder for the WBA championship. Henry Tillman, who is quick, who likes to stick and move, though he did try to mix it up last July with Bert Cooper and wound up going down twice in the second round and eventually lost a decision. And going down to Bert Cooper is nothing new. That happened earlier today in Canada when Cooper took out Willie DeWitt in the second round.
Coming into this fight, I think Henry Tillman's game plan has to be to use his superior speed and movement. Stay away from Holyfield's power. Evander wants to put pressure on. He's going to back Henry up constantly. Good right hand there by both men. Put pressure on and hope to use a superior power and a superior stamina to perhaps stop Henry in the late rounds. I think it's entirely possible, Al, that Henry Tillman will get off to an early lead in this. The big question is, will he be able to last the 15-round distance?
Holyfield proving that he can last the distance and excel at the distance in the 15-round decision in the quick-paced fight with Cowie. Though he did pay the price later, he lost 15 pounds during that fight and was subsequently hospitalized. Holyfield in the white trunks, Tillman in the silver. Holyfield unbeaten at 13-0, Tillman 14-1. The one loss to Bert Cooper in July.
Henry Tillman's making a big mistake right now, Al. He's giving ground, he's moving, but he's just stopping and then not letting his hands go. He has to punch. There's a good right hand.
And he's able to get off the ropes, and he can get himself into trouble when he is against the ropes, but he was able to move out that time.
Good body punch. Blocked in the camera angle, but you heard that body punch by Evander Holyfield. And that also will take away the movement from Henry Tillman as the fight goes along.
A minute to go in the first round, scheduled for 15 at Bally's Grand Hotel in Reno, Nevada.
Really, the thing to watch for in this fight is what happens when Henry Tillman stops. Who gets the better of it when he plants his feet? There, he's planted his feet, got up a good jab, and now...
Good right.
Caught Evander coming in, exactly.
Good right hand by Tillman.
Tillman mixing it up. Moving, then planting himself, sometimes wanting to fight on the inside, sometimes tying up Evander on the inside.
Holyfield missing with the left hand. These two teammates, roommates at the LA Olympics, good buddies, and thus not much pre-fight hype. And they talk about fighting a pound.
But I feel like being the best that I want to be, that you're going to run into good fighters that you had shared time to spend time with.
We've always been good friends and held respect for one another. as just people, as just a person, you know.
Both of us would go out and box and do the best we can and do it in an honest way and show good sportsmanship in a way of doing it.
I'm gonna get in the ring and do what I have to do to come out the winner. And just hopefully that we're still friends no matter what the outcome is after the fight.
Crowd of between 4,000 and 5,000 and number 24, Willie Mays, looking on today in Reno as we go to the second round of the scheduled 15. In the silver trunks, Henry Tillman, who won the heavyweight title at the LA Olympics, and Evander Holyfield in the white trunks, the silver medalist, or the bronze medalist actually in the light heavyweight class. And a good left hand, and Tillman goes down early here in the second round.
Henry Tillman was down in the second round of his fight with Bert Cooper. Came back to go the distance.
He was down twice. Holyfield trying to get inside as Tillman backs up.
There you see Henry Tillman make a big mistake. That is his warrior's heart. He has the heart of a warrior, but not the chin of one. He should be staying out of trouble and grabbing, not trading punches on the inside.
Now he's trying to grab, missing with a wild right, trying to hold on, trying to tie him up. Holyfield with a right and trying to work on the body.
Yeah, he's working a little bit below the belt there a couple of times. No warning from referee Padilla. Henry Tillman is letting Evander get punches off. He should be tying him up or moving out of danger.
Holyfield trying to do damage underneath. A minute and a half remaining in round two.
Evander Holyfield in his 13 pro fights to date has been an excellent finisher. He's kept his cool, he's kept his poise, he's stayed relaxed. He's landing some punches here, but he has not landed the finishing punch yet.
And Tillman against the ropes and working his way off and staggering through this second round. Very reminiscent of the Cooper confrontation. Again, he was down in that fight twice in the second round, but came back and in fact may have been ahead going into the last couple of rounds when Cooper came on again to win the decision.
Tillman's hurt again. His legs are all wobbly.
Holyfield chasing him across the ring. Very rubbery-legged right now. 30 seconds to go here in the second round.
Even if Holyfield does not stop Tillman in this round, Henry has taken so many punches that I just don't, and especially body punches, I just don't think that he'll have the movement to survive the distance. Good right hand by Henry Tillman.
Out of nowhere. But in all, a big, big round for the champion, Evander Holyfield. Into round two. Reno, Nevada. Evander Holyfield defending his WBA Junior Heavyweight Championship. He had Henry Tillman on the deck in round two. A big round for Holyfield after a spirited first round. Round three now, and this one's scheduled for 15.
It looks like the punch that floored Henry was an overhand right that caught him on the temple, and a lot of times a temple shot will take away the man's legs. We saw that when Mike Tyson stopped Trevor Berbick.
Crowd chanting Holyfield as Tillman tries to bore in and tie him up. Good action here in round three, and another good combination from Holyfield.
Henry Tillman may not, at this point in the fight, have any choice, Al, but to stand there and trade, because he may not have the legs to move out of danger. But he just can't win a trading war with Evander Holyfield. Evander has superior combinations, superior power, and a superior chin. See 3 jabs for Evander. Luduva trying very very hard, along with George Benton, to work that into Evander's repertoire as a part of his weaponry, but he really doesn't use it very often, especially when there's a man hurt. He throws power punches. Holyfield totally dominant on the inside, Al, with hooks and uppercuts.
Using that left hand.
At this point in the fight, Henry Tillman's only hope, as he, in desperation, goes left-handed for one weak right jab, his only hope is that Evander Holyfield runs out of gas.
And that's not likely in light of what we saw in the Cowie fight last July. Another good left hand by Holyfield, and another good round for Evander Holyfield.
Henry Tillman is still hurt. He has never fully recovered from that first knockdown, Al.
He's slightly less rubbery-legged here in round 3, but still a little glassy-eyed. As we come down to the end of round 3. A good beginning for Evander Holyfield as he tries to stay unbeaten and tries to remain the WBA junior heavyweight champion. Evander Holyfield, the man who's fought only 3 rounds over the previous 8 months. He beat Cowie, and then he took care of Michael Brothers in a non-title fight in Paris on December 8th. Took care of him in round 3. So only once in 8 months, but looking very fresh, looking very sharp, and dominating the early going in this fight with Henry Tillman.
Well, Tillman is just worn down. It just looks at this point like if Evander takes his time, works especially to the body, that it is just a matter of time before he stops Henry. He has not gotten a second. Henry Tillman has not gotten a second win, and it doesn't look like Evander is tiring out. Devastating on the inside.
Lou Duva in Holyfield's corner. He's watched Evander emerge to the point he's a very skilled and a very accomplished boxer, very determined, quietly confident.
I think that Evander Holyfield caught a punch there in that exchange. He's fighting back now with a good right hand.
And Tillman unloading with everything as Holyfield has to tie him up.
Told us he was caught by a good left hook from Dwight Muhammad Cowie when he won the title in the 4th round.
And this is round 4. And that's when Cowie started to take control of that fight, but eventually Holyfield with a second win came back, finished with a flourish, and won a split decision. For our local stations along the line, we'll take a station break at the end of this round. Round 4, Reno, Nevada, Evander Holyfield. Good combination against Henry Tillman. Tillman's been down once. He went down for the mandatory 8 in the 2nd round and in trouble here in the 4th.
And Henry Tillman must be very, very discouraged. He hit Evander Holyfield with the best punch he has and put a series of punches after it. And here he is right back in his face.
Versus Smith, the man who worked with, weaned Tillman, his trainer. Holyfield is the champ.
Evander is a little bit tired here. He's thrown a tremendous amount of punches.
We'll return with more of ABC's Wide World of Sports. 15-round junior heavyweight bout between Evander Holyfield and Henry Tillman after this from our local stations. Round 5, it's scheduled for 15. Evander Holyfield, the WBA junior heavyweight champion, and Henry Tillman, his Olympic teammate. Tillman, the challenger, scheduled for 15. There's been 1 knockdown thus far as Tillman went down in the 2nd round. Holyfield took Tillman's best shot in round 4 and then recovered and finished spiritedly in the 2nd half of the round. Padilla, the referee.
Again, Henry Tillman trying to work on the inside. You saw there 3 straight, 4 punches missed. His skills are essentially those of a boxer from the outside. Haven't seen his jab, and really haven't seen, except for occasional flares, the good straight right hand that he possesses. And in contrast, there was Holyfield on the inside connecting.
Holyfield becoming more and more accomplished and skilled as he goes along. Another good left hand.
Henry Tillman is badly hurt here. It just looks like all Evander has to do is just to put together a series of punches, and when he does, just Henry Tillman's conditioning and heart is keeping him up right now.
But the cumulative effect, very evident, very much taking its toll. Another good right by Holyfield. Again, dominating here in round 5. Tillman appears ready to go again. He's already been down once.
And look at him fight back, Al.
Good right by Tillman.
He can't even hold his hands up, Henry Tillman.
He's still moving, but very shakily. Trying to hang in there against the relentless assault of Evander Holyfield.
At this point in the fight, he's too brave for his own good. Evander Holyfield temporarily punched out. If Henry Tillman had anything left, he would have jumped on it, but he just doesn't.
Holyfield looking very much the 5-1 favorite. As he again dominates the round. End of round 5. Live, Reno, Nevada. Al Michaels with Alex Wallow, the WBA Junior Heavyweight Championship. On the left, in the white trunks, Evander Holyfield. Very sharp today against Henry Tillman, who was down in the second round. You could perhaps make a case for Tillman winning round 1, but that would be it. Holyfield has dominated since.
You see Evander starting out this round jabbing. See if he's able to put punches together with the jab. If and when he gets to that stage of his development, he's going to be fearsome. Pretty tough right now.
Oh, yeah. Evander's wife on this Valentine's Day, Paulette. Looking on as her man tries to win his 14th professional fight and retain his WBA Junior Heavyweight Championship. Funny thing, when these two guys turned pro, there was a 33-pound difference. Holyfield made his professional debut at 177, and Tillman made his at 210. And it's one twain that met at about 189.
Part of the backdrop of this fight is that Evander Holyfield,
another good right by Evander. He's got Tillman on the run again.
You saw Evander shake his head. He just couldn't line him up for the punch that he wanted to finish him. But that right hand to the body is just taking the legs completely away from Henry Tillman. And with his legs goes his entire chance to win the fight. Henry tried to snap a couple of jabs, but really nothing on his punches at this point. And he has not shown in his career, as Henry Tillman, an ability to get that second win, to finish strong. After he was knocked down by Cooper, he did come back to win all the middle rounds, but that was more a matter of Cooper running out of gas than Henry getting his second win. And he lost the last round and lost the fight.
And again, if you missed it, Bert Cooper won today. Second round TKO in Regina, Saskatchewan over Willie DeWitt, the man who Henry Tillman defeated for the gold in LA in '84 in the heavyweight class. the aggressor, still very much in control of the fight as we come down to the end of round 6 in Reno, Nevada. Reno, Nevada, we go to round 7 in a fight being controlled by Evander Holyfield, the champion, trying to stay unbeaten against Henry Tillman, who's been on the run the last couple of rounds and has already been on the canvas once in round 2. Carlos Padilla, the referee. Alex, as I watch Holyfield, and we've watched him since he made his pro debut and before that as an amateur, he may not be what you would call gifted necessarily, but he appears to be highly skilled, more and more skilled as he goes along.
And he's more of a thinking fighter than I think people realize. He really is trying to put things together which you could qualify as being scientific. He tries to parry right hands with his right hand by the side of his head. Tries to put punches together. He said he wanted to get close. Oh, good.
Oh, left and a right. And down he goes. Mandatory 8 count. The count is 8, and Tillman gets up. So he's been down for the second time as Padilla looks into his eyes.
Padilla was looking for Henry to give him an excuse to stop the fight, but Henry refused to give him that excuse. He told him he was okay. But Carlos Padilla should look at Henry Tillman and not listen to him. This fight should be stopped, and it is.
That's the second knockdown.
He's calling it a knockdown.
That's the second knockdown. The 3 knockdown rule is in effect, so if he goes down again and Padilla lets this continue, that would do it. Padilla's going to let him go at it again, and if he goes down once more, that will do it. He's already been down twice in the round, 3 times in the fight, and he's ready to go, and that's it. Evander Holyfield stopping Henry Tillman in the 7th round, knocking him down 4 times in the fight.
That fight was a perfect example of when a referee should look at a fighter and not listen to him. Henry Tillman said he was all right each time Carlos Padilla asked him, but Carlos Padilla should have stopped that fight after the 2nd knockdown, Al.
And Evander Holyfield with another very impressive performance. Tillman's best round was the first. You could have scored that one either way, and then after that, no contest. Evander Holyfield, the bronze medalist in '84, but as a pro, 14-0, 10 knockouts now, and we'll go back and take a look at the first of the 3 knockdowns that ended it here in round 7, Alex.
Holyfield just puts combinations together so well. He just keeps coming after you. You have no place to run and no place to hide. This is the 2nd knockdown. Again, just a series of punches, not one in particular. There, Henry really put himself down, sat down, and coming up the 3rd knockdown that stopped the fight.
And it's true, there was very little doubt after the 2nd of those knockdowns that the fight could have been stopped. Fortunately, just not much further damage was done. One more punch and down he went, and with the 3 knockdown rule in effect, that wrote an end to this one in round 7. And we'll return after this commercial and a word from your local. The end comes 143, round 7, TKO Evander Holyfield over Henry Tillman, and Evander's with Alex.
Evander, it's Valentine's Day. Henry's your good friend, but as Al Michaels said at the top of the show, there was no love lost in the fight today.
No, it wasn't. Henry came in and fought as a sportsmanship. He was a good fighter, good, strong fighter. I hit him with a lot of good shots. He showed that he had a will and heart to fight back after all them tough shots.
Let's take a look at the knockdowns that led to the end in the final round. I believe we're coming up to the 1st knockdown here.
You see it?
Yeah, there was the right hand. Was it easier than you thought, Evander?
Oh, not at all. Not at all. I was basing Henry's fight on his amateur experience. He showed me a lot of different things. And I thought maybe I could put the jab to the body and be able to come over with a right hand. But he moved a lot and had me off balance a lot.
Were you hurt in the 4th round? I thought he caught you with a punch in the 4th round.
No, he didn't hurt me at all. Henry, his punches were glancing, and I was able to slip with the punches as my coach had me doing.
Were you surprised he took so many punches? Do you think he would go down easier than he did? He showed an awful lot of heart.
Yes, I was very surprised. I hit him with a lot of clean shots on the chin, and I hit him with a lot of good uppercut. And I think the basic thing was that he was able to get back and have me off balance a lot with his moving back.
Do you think the referee let it go too long? One knockdown too long?
Well, I can't really say that. I wasn't really paying attention to the referee. Henry was able to fight himself back into the fight. So it was better for the referee to let it go, because anybody could have said that he really wasn't out yet. But the referee let it go long enough for everybody to realize that he was out.
Ken Sander, Evander's manager, and Lou Duva's co-trainer. Where do we go from here? And is Mike Tyson down the road in the far distance?
Well, I don't think Mike Tyson's out of the realm of really making a hell of a match over here. But right now, Evander's in a position to fight Carlos De Leon, fight Ricky Parkey. He wants to clean up the junior heavyweights first. After that, we'll see if Tyson is still there. If Tyson's still there, we might be there too, and we're ready to fight him. I think the logical match would be Michael Spinks. That's when we'd like to fight.
How do you feel about moving up, Evander?
Well, I feel like when nature takes its toll, and my trainers and everything, see my workout with heavy guys and let them be able to dictate where my next move will be.
Congratulations. Let's go back to Al Michaels at ringside.
All right, Alex, so Evander Holyfield, who made his pro debut in 1984, and he took on a pretty good opponent for a guy making his first professional bout. Lionel Byarm was his opponent in Madison Square Garden on the 15th of November, '84. Holyfield won impressively. He has remained unbeaten as a professional at 14-0 with 10 knockouts. Had things very much his way, totally in control today. A 5-1 favorite, and looked very much like a 5-1 favorite, even though this bout figured to be, in the minds of many, those following the sport closely, far more competitive. But it wasn't. Henry Tillman is the loser, and let's go back to Alex.
And a very gutty loser and a gracious loser to come over and talk to us. Henry, it looked like you got hurt in the second round and never really got your legs back after that.
Well, yeah, I got shook in the second round, but I don't think that was the cause of me losing or getting knocked down later in the fight. It's just that it was one of them things, you know. I have no excuses. This is a better man today, you know.
How important were the body shots that he got on you?
I guess any amount of body shots will do something to you in the later rounds. But I doubt if the fight got that far in the late rounds for the body shots to really mean that much. It's just that I stepped back too many times with my hands down, coming out of the clinches or whatever, out of the inside work, and got caught with some of them short hooks stepping out with my right hand low.
You're still relatively inexperienced, Henry. Not as many amateur fights as most people would think to win a gold medal, and certainly very early in your professional career. Where do you go from here? How do you put it back together again?
Well, I don't know right now. It's almost definitely going to be back. I mean, that's not going to stop me from further my career. But I'm just going to, I guess, take a little time off and just relax a little and, you know, go over my mistakes here.
Good luck to you, Henry.
Thank you, Alex.
Thanks for stopping by.
No problem.
Back to Al.
All right, Alex, and so at 143 of round 7, Evander Holyfield puts Henry Tillman away with the 3 knockdown rule in effect and remains the WBA junior heavyweight champion. And from Reno, Nevada, at Bally's Grand Hotel, we go back to New York and check in with Frank Gifford in the studio. Frank?
Thank you very much, Al. And Evander Holyfield seemingly more impressive with each outing. And several times during the course of the fight, we heard Al and Alex Wallo referred to the fight in which he won the title, and that was back in July, last July 12th to be exact. It was at the Omni in Atlanta, Georgia, and he took the title from Dwight Mohammed Cowie. We're going to go back and pick up that action. The commentators there were Al Troutwig and Alex Wallo. Here it is, July 12th, the Omni, Atlanta, Georgia, last July 12th.
I'm Al Troutwig along with Alex Wallo. The bell rings, and this is round 1. Scheduled to go 15 for the junior heavyweight title that belongs, at least for the moment, to Dwight Mohammed Cowie. Here in Georgia, the scoring is done on the 10-point must system. The winner of each round must receive 10 points, the loser 9 or less. Scoring is done by 3 judges with a non-scoring referee, who in this case is Vinny Raynon. The 3 knockdown rule is in effect, and the fight will be ruled a knockout if 3 knockdowns occur. Also, the standing 8 count is in effect, as is the mandatory 8 count. The crowd very lively. And Alex, we haven't heard any of your early strategy. How about it?
You just saw Holyfield. He is devastating right now. He is just outspeeding the champion. He's doing everything he has to do. He's got that 6-inch reach advantage, and he's got the 6-inch height advantage. And Evander just has to find the range where he can reach Cowie, but Cowie cannot reach him. On Dwight's part, he cannot change at age 33. He's just going to put on relentless pressure, Unlike most fighters who are coming in all the time, Al, Cowie is a good defensive fighter. He covers well. He bobs, he weaves. Evander must use that jab to try to pierce that defensive shell, and he's doing that very well right now.
Hard left off the forehead of Cowie, so difficult to penetrate his defenses, but right now, grimacing. Holyfield trying to penetrate with the left.
Right now, the biggest difference is the reach and the speed. Evander is just quicker than Dwight. Evander, both fighters are light heavyweights. Evander outgrew that division. I think Dwight ate himself out of that division. I think he's carrying excess poundage, and that has to hurt his reflexes and his speed.
And yet he still thinks he can go up to the heavyweight division.
If he gets by this fight, that's a very big if.
This is the division that the WBC and IBF call the cruiserweight division. Holyfield in the white trunks with blue trim. Dwight Muhammad Cowie, once more well known as the Camden Buzzsaw, in the white trunks with red trim. A good left-right combination to the head of Cowie.
But you have to watch very closely with Dwight Muhammad Cowie because he does block an awful lot of punches. But right now, Evander is getting through often.
A wild right after a good left-right combination. Lots of noise in the Omni right now. Watch Cowie stalking, constantly moving forward. If he ever takes a step back, you'll know that he's in early trouble.
Evander right now is making a little bit of a mistake in the closing seconds here. He's backing straight up. He should be moving from side to side. Stay within punching range. There, he moves to his right, away from the Cowie right hand.
We're watching the WBA Junior Heavyweight Championship bout between Cowie and Holyfield, and it's off to a great start. We'll be back.
Heavyweight opponent today, Henry Tillman, retaining his title to remain undefeated with 14 straight. He won by a technical knockout at 143 of the 7th round. We have also been watching the fight in which Evander Holyfield won that title. It was back in July. He defeated Dwight Muhammad Cowie. It was one of the better fights of the year. You saw the first round a few moments ago. Right now, we are going to rejoin that fight, round 13.
We enter round 13, which means we have a maximum of 3 to go. Alex, how would you summarize the 12 we've seen so far?
I think Evander has just had a little bit more energy, a little bit more punching and combination, throw more punches and landed more. I have him ahead by 4 points at this stage. There could be a lot of people who disagree with me, especially people who give points for aggression. Dwight has done almost all of the aggression in terms of coming in throughout the fight.
And Holyfield, as he has, coming out strong in the early part of the round. Teeing off on the head of Cowie. Cowie trying to cover up. Now let's see if history repeats itself again. Will Cowie come lunging back at Holyfield, who has used up too much energy?
Yeah, of course he will. But he does not have, he's just been worn down a little bit too much right now. He just can't come back with enough to make up for what Holyfield did. Right now, Dwight's well behind in this round with a minute gone in the round.
Remember, 3 judges at ringside doing the scoring on the 10-point Musk system. Referee Vinny Renaud does not figure.
And Vinny Renaud is going to warn him again. He did not take a point away. I thought that he would come in and penalize Dwight for a point there, but he did not.
A point there would have really changed things for the final couple of rounds. Midway point, or thereabouts, of round 13.
Dwight's just not throwing enough punches. He's just taking time off inside. He's fighting in spurts. He's just, neither fighter is, of course, fighting all the time. It's impossible with this kind of a pace and the punches they've absorbed. But Evander is just out busying him. He's just beating to the punch.
And you notice the taunting that we saw a little bit of in the earlier rounds is completely absent.
At the end of the last round, Dwight looked at Evander to see what...
Boy, wasn't that a great look he gave him?
Yeah, he gave him a look to say, what are you still doing here? Evander just calmly walked back to his corner.
Holyfield sliding away from that right nicely.
You know, we've talked a lot about how this is the only time that Evander Holyfield has been this far. Dwight has only been this far once before. That was his 15-round decision loss to Michael Spinks.
Two big rights by Holyfield to the chin of Cowie.
You hit me, I'll hit you.
And then I'll hit you again. Good combination. 2 to the chin of Cowie. Some more. His gloves have dropped.
Believe it or not, Cowie dropped his gloves. He does that to try to entice Evander into letting his hands go and trying to get some counter-punching opportunities. But he took some punishment there.
A right that looked like it just glanced off the chin of Cowie. No big damage, but there certainly was a lot behind it. And the school bell sounds, and the round is over.
Summer, Evander Holyfield against Dwight Muhammad Cowie, where Holyfield won his WBA junior heavyweight title. It's the 15th round. It was very close. It was a brutal fight. Holyfield led on 2 cards, but the fight was still up for grabs. And let's rejoin Al Trautwig.
Of the WBA World Junior Heavyweight Championship of the World. Dwight Muhammad Cowie, who yesterday called Evander Holyfield mediocre, would not be saying that to us right now.
He didn't believe it either. He was just trying to psych him out. He was not able to do that. He has not been able to do that. On my scorecard, Evander Holyfield is ahead by 5 points and in control of this fight. That is, of course, unofficial. Again, Evander slips this time in Cowie's corner. He did not go down this time. Vinny Raynon stops the clock, orders both corners to dry him up. Each corner is just soaking his man with water and ice, trying to revive him, trying to make his man the fresher.
I see ice cubes up in the corner of Holyfield right above us here at ringside. That right snapped the jaw of Holyfield. Another left coming in from Cowie.
Both fighters are going to let it all hang out here in the 15th and final round.
Do you think Cowie realizes or thinks that he is behind?
I really wouldn't want to take a guess, Al. I think he must know, but you can't tell from his style because he fights the same way all the time. He's trying to knock your head off all the time.
I was wrong. The chant is definitely holy, holy for Holyfield. It's his hometown, remember. They've watched him mature. They've watched him in the Olympic Games. Perhaps they share that disappointment with him.
He has done them very, very proud, and himself very proud today, Al.
But here's Cowie, the veteran. Does he have any tricks left?
Dwight has nothing to be ashamed of either. He has given, I think, everything he has to give. I just don't think at this age and at that weight that he can give enough to beat. In my opinion, he hasn't given enough to beat this young challenger.
Now we're approaching the final minute of the 15th and final round, but there was a stoppage to wipe off the corners.
And that time, Cowie looked at Vinny Raynon, the referee, and asked him what he was warning him about. He didn't understand. Cowie asking Raynon to warn Holyfield for holding behind the head. And Cowie landed a good left hook there. Evander may have flurried a little bit too much early in this round. He's going to have to gut the end of this round out.
Holyfield slipping again.
And give Dwight Muhammad Cowie credit. He did not let a punch go when Holyfield was down. We can see Dwight head on right now. He is very tired. He is just wide open with his mouth. Can barely hold his hands up, and he backs up.
A big right that really stunned Cowie. He stuttered. But now, look at him. Still, fire left in his eyes and in some of his punches.
I think that was the experience. I think Dwight may know he has to knock him out. I think he might have thought the way to get him to come in wide open was to back up. And there's the final bell. You might be able to see from Dwight's face that he recognizes that he gave everything he had, but today, against Evander Holyfield, it was not enough.
Cowie